Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered what it really takes to become an Ayurvedic doctor in India? Well, today, we're mapping out that entire journey step by step, and we're using the official 2022 regulations as our guide so you know this is the real deal.
So what's the whole point of this degree? What's the big mission? It's not just about dusting off ancient texts. The goal here is to create a new kind of doctor, one who's not only a skilled physician, but also a surgeon, who can seamlessly blend that deep, ancient wisdom of Ayurveda with all the power of modern science. It's about serving the community, plain and simple.
And the entire program is built on this foundation called Ashtanga Ayurveda. Now that literally translates to the 8 limbs of medicine. And believe me, this isn't some narrow field. It's a complete system of health. We're talking about everything from internal medicine and surgery to pediatrics and even psychiatry. It's the whole shebang.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover what BAMS actually is, how you can get in, what that 5.5-year program looks like, the all-important internship, and finally, what it means to become an Ayurvedacharya. Let's dive in. First things first, how do you even get your foot in the door? Let's break down those entry requirements.
All right, so the official rules lay out 3 key hurdles you've got to clear, and these are non-negotiable. First up, your academics. You need to have passed your 10+2 with physics, chemistry, and biology. Second, there's an age requirement. You have to be at least 17. And third, the big one, you absolutely must qualify in the national entrance exam known as NEET.
Now, when it comes to that entrance exam, it's not just about taking it. You have to score above a certain threshold. So if you're in the general category, you need to score in at least the 50th percentile. For candidates from scheduled castes, tribes, and other backward classes, that minimum mark is the 40th percentile. That's a crucial detail.
Okay, so you made it in. Congratulations. Now the real work begins, the 5.5-year academic journey.
The timeline is basically split into 2 major phases. First, you have 3 academic sessions, each lasting 18 months. So that's 4.5 years of some seriously intensive study. And then the whole thing is capped off with a mandatory, hands-on internship that lasts for a full year.
In that first professional session, it's all about building a solid foundation. You're going to dive deep into core subjects like Rachana Sharira and Kriya Sharira, which are just the Ayurvedic terms for human anatomy and physiology. The cool part is you learn them from both the traditional Ayurvedic and the modern scientific perspectives.
Once you move into the second session, things shift from the what to the why. The focus gets a lot more clinical. You'll be learning Roga Nidan, which is the art of diagnosis and pathology, and Dravya Guna Vidyan, which is all about pharmacology, really understanding medicinal plants and substances.
And that final academic session, that's where everything really comes together. You're going to take a deep dive into the major clinical specialties like internal medicine, general surgery, and pediatrics. This is the training that really gets you ready to handle a huge variety of real-world clinical situations.
And check this out, because this visual perfectly illustrates a core philosophy of the entire program. For every single hour you spend in a traditional lecture, you're going to spend 2 hours in non-lecture settings. We're talking labs, clinical postings, live demonstrations, all that hands-on practical training. It's a curriculum that is absolutely built around learning by doing.
But it's not all just a fixed path. The curriculum also gives you a chance to personalize your education through electives. These are basically 45-hour online courses that let you explore topics you're really passionate about. You have to complete at least 3 of them each session, which is a great way to tailor your degree and earn some extra credits.
All right, so after 4.5 years of hitting the books, it's finally time to step into the clinic. We've arrived at what might be the most critical phase of all, the 1-year compulsory internship, where all that theory finally meets real-world practice.
Now, what's really interesting here is that you get a choice in how you do your internship. Option 1 lets you split your year. You'd spend 6 months at your own college hospital and then another 6 months at a different facility, like a primary health center. Or you can go with option 2 and spend the entire 12 months right there at your college's teaching hospital.
During this year, you won't be stuck in one place. You're going to rotate through all the key clinical departments. So, for example, if you pick that 12-month option at your college, you'll spend 3 full months in internal medicine, 2 months in surgery, 2 in panchakarma, and so on. This makes sure you get broad, practical experience across every single specialty. And let me be clear, this is not a passive role where you just stand in a corner and watch. Oh no. As an intern, you are an active part of the patient care team. You'll be taking cases, diagnosing illnesses, assisting in actual surgical procedures, running lab work, and counseling patients. And a huge part of this is meticulously documenting everything you do in a mandatory electronic logbook.
So, after 5.5 years of intense work, from that very first exam to the final day of your internship, you've made it. You're at the finish line. Once you've successfully completed everything, you are awarded the official degree of Ayurveda. That translates to Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery, or BAMS. This title signifies that you are now a fully qualified physician ready to enter the healthcare system.
When you look at this whole process, from those foundational principles all the way to advanced surgical training, it's clear that it's designed to prepare a new generation of doctors. And it kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. With this incredibly comprehensive blend of tradition and modernity, how will these new graduates go on to shape the future of healthcare for all of us?